Hi guys, and welcome back. Welcome to step 3 in the load development series that I'm running. And step 3, of course, is the physical loading of the bullets of the ladder that we will be shooting, and we'll take it from there. If you haven't watched step 2 or step 1, I'll put a link in the right top corner for you. It'll take you to step 2, and step 2 will take you to step 1. So before we start with what you'll need and how we're going to proceed from here, this step is going from where the brass is already either cleaned, because it's the second or the third time that you're using it, or if you're using new brass, that the brass is being prepped. If you don't know the prepping stages and you'd like to have a video on that, please comment in the comments below, then I'll add a small video outside of the loading series on how to prep new brass or brass that you have already shot. So for stage 3 or step 3, let's have a run through on what you'll need for this step. So first of all, a bullet tray that'll keep your brass and of course your brass. Then your primers, I've chosen the CCI large rifle primers, the BR2s, and that is because I'm shooting the 30-06, which is a large primer pocket. Your primer tool, there's one of two ways. You can either have the hand tool or you can use your press. I prefer the hand tool because you have a little bit more feeling on how you're seating the primers. You'll need your powder, you'll need your die set of choice. So I am a Reading die. If you follow me on social media, you'll see that the Reading Type S dies is the only ones that I've used on all of my calibers. It's the way I've been brought up, the way my father showed me how to use it. So guys, if you can, save up, buy right from the beginning. The cheap ones, there's nothing wrong with it, but this just gives you the edge. So that's your dies of choice. Then your vernier, once we seat the bullets to make sure that we've got them long enough. All right, your bullet heads that you're going to be putting inside the brass. And then of course, your very important scale. So there's two methods. We've all started with a small scale, which you do with the hand and a little spoon to get to the right grainage, and then we'll pour it into your brass. On the other hand, I've saved up and I've been lucky enough to get me the chargemaster lights, and in the box you get an electronic scale that does the physical throwing of the powder for you. I'll take it out of the box now, place it on the table. I'll bring the camera closer so you can see how I set it up. But the system stays the same. You calibrate your scale, leave it on for a little bit, and then we zero it with your primer catcher from there. As well, something that you'll need is your powder dispenser that goes into the brass to just make sure that you don't waste too much of the powder trying to get it into the brass. So that is the equipment that you'll need to load. Let's set up the table for us to load. I'll have my notebook, as we said in step 2, what intervals we're going to be loading it at, and then we're going to take it from there one by one. Stay tuned. Alright guys, I'm just going to do a close-up of the assembly of the Lee priming tool. So it's nicely packed. Here's your primer tray. We are going to load the large primers. So on the side over there, see if you can get a reflection on that. No, it doesn't want to go there. It says LG for large. All right, so make sure you got the large. The other one says SM for small, but that's not going to be for today. And to make sure, before we set up this, make sure you have the right collet in to hold the brass. So as I thought this was the small one. So easy, just press the primer guide down. Take the collet out and put the correct collet in, line it up, there you go, and just make sure that it slides in. Perfect. Alright, for the primers, you take your primer as you get it from the shop. We're not going to do too many, I'm going to do 20 for now. You're going to unlock, open, put the tray on top, flip it around so that you don't have a mess. And just give it a shake so all the primer faces upwards. So you see all the primers are facing up. Alright, and then you can put it in the lock position into your tray, or into your hand primer tool, and there you go. Make sure the first one slides in. So just give it one squeeze, and there it has sequenced. Alright, let me quickly prime these. So the benefit that the hand loader gives you is you can feel exactly how much pressure it takes to seat the primer. So just after this one, it is very important that once you turn it around and you feel that you haven't pushed the primer too far in so there has an indent, or that you haven't pushed it in at all and that the primer actually stands out. So you want to feel that it feels nice and flush. Another way is to put it down on the table, let it stand, and just give it a bob, see if it waggles. If it waggles, the primer is not seated deep enough, and just reseat it. Just watch out, you don't want to seat it too deep, causing it to create like a little of a divot. Okay, it's good to make sure that the scale is level and is not wobbling at all. Before we turn it on, we place everything that we need to and we put the scale on. Let it run its own internal test. Make sure that everything is properly balanced and according to the specs. Once it gets to the 0, we're going to calibrate it. Even on the small Lyman scales, you get a weight and then you calibrate it on this. Today we're not going to use the Lyman one, we're going to use the RCBS press. So it's on, we're going to click calibrate. It says 0, so it means it is at 0 if you calibrate. Alright, we're just going to put 150 gram weight, calibrate again, make it 100, calibrate. And once you take it off, it should beep. There we go, showing you 0. You take your, and then you 0. So there you go. Let it be. RCBS says that they recommend that you leave the scale on for 20 minutes before you start loading, just so it calibrates and does everything on the inside. Okay, so while the scale is doing its internal testing for the 20 minutes, I'll just show you what I have done on the notepad side. So from the Excel spreadsheet on step 2, we have discussed that we're going to do 0.3 intervals from the minimum to the maximum. We're not going to be loading the maximum, which is 55.9. As we say, we're shooting a lighter bullet and we don't want that to affect or put us in danger in any way. Alright, if you have one of these RCBS presses, you'll see on the screen it says auto. We want to put it to manual mode because we're going to be putting in different grains on every bullet that we load. First one, 50.3, and go. Okay, there's the beep that it is complete. You take your brass with your funnel, make sure that you hold it nice and snug, and in we go. Let it go in, perfect, and we'll put it in the tray. Next one will be 50.6, and go. Alright, there's the beep. Grab your funnel, grab your next piece of brass, and into the funnel we go. Alright, and every time you put it back, you make sure that it's 0.0 on the scale, make sure that it goes all in. Alright, and so on. Alright guys, here we are in the loading room. So I'm just going to open the packet of bullets. Alright, just make sure that all of the brass actually have powder in. And then for the 30-06, because it's so long, you actually have to put it in, seat the bullet by hand into the die, and then just give it a nice pull. Alright, try and keep the force on the press arm the same every time. It'll give you consistent data, and it'll help you with consistency on length. Alright, so let's have a look. So we're looking for 84.48. 84.48. At this stage we have 85.9, so we can go in a little bit. So I'm just going to do the old method, turn the die in a little bit and do it again. Alright, consistent pressure on the press arm for consistency on the length. Okay, we're getting there, 85.68. Alright, and remember those 5 shots extra that you load. This is where you can now benefit from. If you go too short or too long on the bullet, you have a few extra to set the seating depth and as well as the bullet length. So it'll count in your favor to have a few extra and not go straight into the ladder as I just have. So 84.9, getting there. We're looking for 4.8. So another 0.5 of them will do the job. Alright, I'm going to get it close, and then I'm going to use the micrometer on the top. And that's what reading is micrometer seating die is all about. So we can go a little. We got 0.3 left. Alright, and I'm just going to cheat it a little bit more and seat it again. Alright, that didn't do much, and we want to keep it as constant as we can. I got 84.6, so we're getting there, and now I'll start using the micrometer on the top. Give it a little bit of a turn, and that is now taking off small little bits. So probably as close to as I'm going to get it for now. 84.47, close enough for government work. And there we go. Now the press is set, the die is set up, the press is good to go. Now you can just roll with it. Alright, constant pressure on the arm to make sure that you have constant length. So I'm just going to stop with this one and see what the length is looking like. 84.49. Beautiful. Alright, let me run. I'll speed this up, quickly press the rest, and we can get it. And there you have it, guys. Step 3, the physical loading of the bullet is now done. Very important, guys. It's very seldom that you load and shoot on the same day, so record keeping is immensely important. You got to remember where you started, which is bullet number 1, which is bullet number 20, or if you're going to do 15, which is number 1, which is number 15. So it's important to write down. I always draw myself a diagram. If I put it in a box like this, I draw the box, label it 1 to 10 and 11 to 20, just so you know that which sequence you need to follow. When we get onto the range, this is going to be important. Like, I'm not going to go and shoot this anytime soon, maybe only next week. So then when I take my ammo and I'm on the range, I know which one to start with, which is my 5 that I've put aside for zeroing and fouler shots, to start off with that and then go into the ladder shooting it according to what you have planned from the minimum to the maximum. Guys, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this helped you in a way. If there's anything that you are unsure about, from anything from step 1, 2 or 3, please don't hesitate to contact me either on Facebook, Instagram, or onto the comments below. I'll see if I can help you out, and we'll get to step 4, which is the shooting and target analysis next. Guys, thanks for sticking by. Remember to subscribe, and we'll see you again.